Welcome to Beginning Ye 2.0, Part 3 of 15, Configuring the Database. What we're going to do today is we're going to use the command line to initialize our development site. We're going to use a SQL script to load up our database. We'll use the G tool to create all of our models. And then we'll modify the user model so that it works with all the new stuff in it. And then we're going to modify appasset.php and add indexasset.php to include some new CSS, JavaScript plugins and fonts, and to modify some of our front-end views. So we've got a lot to cover today. It's going to take some time, so sit back and relax, and let's get started. All right, so we're going to initialize our system. The first thing you need to do is navigate to your web server root and your application. In my case, it's XAMPP htdocs ycom. All right, once there, what you're going to do is you're just going to type in init, and it will ask you which environment you want the application to be initialized in, and it will be 0, which is development. Okay. Since I've already done this, I'm going to hit Q to quit and get out of this. All right, so now we're going to load up our database. If you'll come over to, first of all, you should clone the, or get the zip file from GitHub, TSK Matrix, ycom, branch 3. And you should clone that or unzip that all down in here into your web root. And you'll have the latest version. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down here into our vendor, down into TSK Matrix, to the database, and we're going to copy all of this. It's pretty big. We're just going to copy all of this, and then we're going to paste it into our, all right, so we're in our ycom database, and we're going to, I've already done all this, so I'm just showing you how to do it. So now we just copy all of that into here and hit our go button, and it will take all of that and load up our database for us. Before we, and then what you'll need to do is run the models, and we'll do that in G in just 1 second. Okay, so we're going to use the G tool to create all our models, but the first thing you need to do is you need to come over here and you need to sign up with an admin as your username, your email address, and your password, and then hit sign up. And that way you get logged in. I need to log in so that I can use the G tool. And then over here, what we're going to do is real simple. We're going to go to G. And this takes us to G. And we want to start our model generator. You want it to go into the common models, so you'll change your namespace. Your base class is the active record, and your connection is database, and you can just put star for your table name and then preview. and it will go out and it will look at everything. I've got a lot of, I'm not going to overwrite anything, and I've already created the models for myself, so that's what we're going to do. Everything's unchanged or needs to be overwritten, and we're not going to do that because we're going to make some changes to our models. Okay, particularly the user model. But that's all you have to do. Go ahead and hit the generate button, and it will generate the models for you and put them in the common models folder. Alrighty. So now we're ready to modify our user model. Now, as you can see here in the Common Models directory, we have all of our new models. And we want to take a look at user PHP. There we go. So let's take a look at user PHP. As you can see, we have all sorts of new properties and things. One thing I recommend that you do before you create the user model is to, after you initialize, rename your old, or rename the user model that gets initialized as old user model or original user model. There you go. So that you can copy in some of the things that are going to be needed. So you can see our namespace is Common Models. We're going to be using not supported exception, the timestamp behavior, the blamable behavior, identity interface, expression, and of course the active record. Okay. Now, all these properties have to be declared. And as you can see, these are our relatable properties here. So we'll have some really nice little functions that we can use to get all that information. You'll want to have this behaviors section here. Okay. And then here's all our rules, and you want to have this copied over from our original user PHP file. You want to add that. Make sure that you have these statuses up here added. Then these are our attribute labels. And then you have to copy in all of this right here from our original user. Okay. So all of this gets added so that we can do our authentication for our user. And this is where we can get all of our new new models. These are our new models: address model, logs model, phones model, the user type model, and the user rest data model. And these will enable us to get some information out of these and use them later on. Okay, so that's modifying the user PHP file. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to come over here to our front-end assets folder, and we want to modify our app asset so that we can use our Font Awesome CSS so that Font Awesome is going to work for us. Now this is always loaded before anything else because it depends on the Yi assets and the Bootstrap assets. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new file in this folder called index_asset.php, and we're going to add some CSS to it and some JavaScript that needs to be added to it. And then you have to add this line here, front end assets, app asset, so that is included, so that when you do index asset, it always includes the front end asset, app asset. Okay, very simple. Now to get all that to work in our index asset PHP file, we need to add some CSS and some images and some JavaScript and some plugins. So I've added all of these to our CSS file folder. I've added some credit cards to our images over here. And this is a pretty photo, which is got some plug-in stuff that we need to use. All of our JavaScript is now residing here in our JavaScript folder. And I've got a few plugins. This is the latest Font Awesome CSS. I think it's 401. And of course the fonts. Some less and some SCSS. So all of that has been added to our front end web folder. And now when we modify our views, I'll show you how to make sure all that is working. Okay, so now it's time to modify some of our views. First thing we want to modify is the front end views, layouts, and the main PHP. I wanted you to notice that it's using this front end assets, app asset. Okay, and then this line right here, app asset register this, so that it runs that app asset and has the Font Awesome fonts registered in that. Down here in our menu, I've added a few things here, starting right after the else, right here. Yeah, this menu item here. We're actually still in the else. This gets our administration. This should end our else right here. Then we have this cart. Okay, I've added some interesting things here for the cart. We may change this up a little later on and just send them over to a cart page when we do our shopping. So we may add shop rather than cart. And that ends what we're doing in main. So let's go ahead and close that up, and we'll go to the site and I'll show you what we're doing here in our index. We're using front end assets index asset. Okay, and helpers, Yi helpers HTML, because we need to do some. I've changed the title up to be Yi comma tutorial. Okay, and we use index asset register this. And we have just added some information in here just so that it makes it easy for the user to navigate to documentation, to the GitHub site, and other things like that. All right, so we've covered quite a bit today in the short time that we've had together. So we now have that little cart is a little drop down, but we may change this up so that it only shows up when we're actually in our cart. But we have an administration back end, so we can go to the back end here. So it just sets up our back end. Then we, of course, we have our contact page and our about page. Our contact page uses the Font Awesome fonts. It has a drop down in it. We'll get to this tomorrow, but I just wanted to show this to you. We'll go back home. But our index page now has 6 different things. So you can go to the Ye documentation, the Ye forum, and Ye extensions, Packagist, our GitHub site, and our playlist on YouTube. So we've done quite a bit today, and I really do hope that you enjoyed it. We'll see you in part 4 next time. And remember, you can get all this at our GitHub site. Let's go there real quick. And if you'll go to branch 3 and just download the zip file of branch 3, and you'll get everything that we've covered today. Okay? Have a great time. See you later.